You're watching Adam the Bull on the BetRivers Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of the Bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by BetRivers. If you're not using the BetRivers app, you are missing out big time. Coming up later in the podcast, the Browns get set to take on the Steelers Thursday Night Football. Normally, there'd be a lot of hype around Cleveland, but it doesn't seem to be there. We'll get into that, everything happening with the Browns, including the tweet heard round the world by Dawand Jones responding to my conversation on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show about his weight. That's coming up in just a little bit. But we begin with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who sadly had their winning streak come to an end. 15-0 would not get to 16-0. The Cavs battled back, did a great job in the final 19 minutes of the game after a rough 29 minutes to start the game. They outplayed the Celtics the rest of the way, but it wasn't enough. It was too big a hole to recover from. Down 20 points in the third quarter. The Cavs would outscore the Celtics by 12 in the third and by 2 in the fourth, but it wasn't enough. The Celtics win it 120-117, showing why they are still the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. In the loss, we all know Darius Garland struggled. An all-time bad night. He went 3 for 2. I wish 13. If he was 13 for 21, the Cavs would have won the game. 3 for 21, 8 points, 7 assists, a couple of double-doubles. Jarrett Allen had 10 and 11, and Evan Mobley 22 and 11, and Donovan Mitchell had 35 in the game. All three bench players that played, George Niang, Ty Jerome, Craig Porter Jr., all put up double digits in this game, but it wasn't enough. It feels like the Cavs shot poorly. It was really just from three. They shot almost 50% from the field. 10 of 29 from three. That's the difference in the game. The Celtics were 22 of 41 from three. 12 more three-pointers on just 12 more three-point attempts for the Boston Celtics. The big difference, especially in the first half. Craig Porter Jr. was 3 for 3 from three. The rest of the team was 7 for 26. Including the combination of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, who were 3 for 17 from three. Can't win that way. And despite the 35 points, I didn't think Donovan Mitchell really played a particularly great game. I know he did a lot of scoring down the stretch, but he was inefficient. Missed a couple of big free throws. I'm not killing Donovan. He just, he scored 35. He didn't have a bad game, but it wasn't a great game for Donovan Mitchell. And listen, I don't need to beat up Darius Garland. He played a horrific game. It was an all-time bad performance. It doesn't diminish what he's done this year. He's played great. The Celtics are obviously a tough matchup. They defend well. Every player that gets on the court for the Celtics plays defense. They all can score. Celtics is just a really good basketball team, and they played better basketball than the Cavs last night. There's no shame in this loss. It's just disappointing because the winning streak felt particularly special. And, the Cavs kept cutting it to 2 after falling behind by so much. And every time they cut it to 2, I think it was 6 times, the Celtics had an answer. So kudos to them for getting a win. The Cavs obviously played right with them after the bad start to the game. And the Celtics had a historically great shooting night, especially in the first half. They shot like 70% from three in the first half. For the game, they shoot 54% from three and 51% from the field. Obviously, Jason Tatum had a huge game, 33, 12, and 7, hitting 6 of 10 threes. And I think Jason Tatum has become the new, for years it was Steph Curry or Draymond Green or maybe Klay Thompson. For a minute, it was Kelly Olynyk. But I think Jason Tatum has become, at least for me, the guy that you hate most of the Cavs opponents. He's as an opponent, listen, I'm sure if Jason Tatum were on the Cavs, I'd love him. But he seems so unlikable to me. He complains about every single call. I hate players that do that. I know in general players complain all the time, but he seems to complain about every call. He never commits a foul. He's always fouled. He's a bit of a whiner. So I find that annoying. But it is disappointing. But I tell you, the most positive thing besides the comeback, obviously, the Cavs were without some players, but that's no excuse. I mean, they've played a lot of games this season where their opponent was missing key players, and they weren't missing any of their best players. They're bench guys, including, probably their 6th, 7th, and 8th best players, but still important players. But I'm not going to make an excuse. The Celtics are without one of their best players, and these things happen. In fact, the New Orleans Pelicans, who are bad to begin with, are only have one guy playing in tonight's game that's averaging more than 6.9 points per game. So, I mean, Cavs are a 14-point favorite. And that's with no Darius Garland, and no Karis LeVert, no Isaac Okoro, and who else am I forgetting? No Max Strus. I'm forgetting somebody. I can't think of it right now. But, Dean Wade. Dean Wade's not playing tonight either. So even without all those guys, they're still a 14-point favorite at home against New Orleans, since they're not they're essentially playing nobody in this game. But it was a lesson. But the thing that really stood out to me the most in this game was just how ferocious Evan Mobley was in this game. And, part of you could say, well, they didn't have their guy, Porzingis, their big guy, and there's really nobody physically to deal with Mobley. And yeah, we haven't seen him play against Giannis. Well, one game against Giannis. We haven't seen him, and Giannis missed the other game. We haven't seen him against Jokic yet, but that's coming up potentially. We haven't seen him against Embiid, because Embiid didn't play the game when they played the Sixers. So yeah, there's still some tests for Evan Mobley to see if he can play with this ferocity that he's played with all year, this energy, this dog mentality that we've never seen from him consistently, and he's played that way the entire season. So we still got to see it against some of the really good other big guys in the league. But man, I couldn't help but think that he was reminding me a little bit of the great Tim Duncan, watching him play. Tim Duncan, was better offensively, certainly, than Evan Mobley his first 3 years in the league. But he really didn't become a superstar until his 4th year in the league. And Mobley already had it from a defensive standpoint. But man, he just looks sensational. And as long as he's playing like this guy, as long as this is who the real Evan Mobley is, and I think there's every reason to believe that he's found it this 4th year and that's not a fluke for 17 games, it'll be 17 tonight, that the Cavs are a legit title contender. I mean, the Celtics deserve to be the favorite, but I think the Cavs are right there with the next group of teams, whether that's Oklahoma City or the Knicks, whoever you want to put in that group of the biggest challengers to the Boston Celtics. I don't think there's any doubt, Dallas also, that the Cavs belong in that top group of contenders behind Boston. And I think Evan Mobley's play, a big reason why. Again, 22 points, 8 of 13 shooting. Didn't love that they didn't get the ball to him. They ran no offense for him in the 4th quarter. It was mostly Donovan Mitchell one-on-one, and Donovan played great in the 4th quarter, but I wanted to see, because Mobley's the one who led him back, the first comeback in the 3rd quarter. I mean, he was just making everything, and he was playing like a monster. 22 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal and a block, and only 3 turnovers. He was handling the ball a lot. I mean, man, 4 assists shy of a triple-double. I mean, you would never believe that last year, but, I mean, guy's playing out of his mind. He has been so good lately, and that's what has you believe in, at least in my opinion, on the Cavs being a totally different team. Last 5 games, he scored, 97 points, so he's averaging just under 20 a game in the last 5 games. He's averaging over 10 rebounds a game, close to 11 rebounds a game, and 2 assists. So basically 20, 11, and 2 over the last 5 games. It's pretty darn impressive. And if he continues anywhere in that neck of the woods, and I think he will, overall for the year, 18.5, 9, and 2.5, there's every reason to believe that the Cavs can contend and be a legitimate threat the entire rest of the season. And that's just really exciting, because we've never really seen that without LeBron James with the Cavs. Let's switch gears to the NFL. Before we do that, though, I got something I want to tell you about, and that's prop packs. Earn a chance at $10,000 in bonus money with BetRivers prop packs. Place NBA same-game parlays to collect player card prop packs and earn rewards. What is a prop pack? Well, it's a set of up to 3 virtual player scoring prop cards for the upcoming game with an indicated prize. If the player hits the scoring target, you win the prize included. It's that simple. You win based on how your player performs. Log into BetRivers.com or the BetRivers app to place your bet and get your pack. Okay, I want to get to the Browns now. So the Browns obviously have lost 2 in a row after winning their first game with Jameis Winston in a big upset over the Ravens. They have lost 7 of their last 8 games and are 2-10 overall. They'll play the Steelers tomorrow night. Steelers are a 3.5-point favorite right now at BetRivers. That's the latest line. Browns are plus 160 on the money line. The over-under down to 37, which is, it's got to be the lowest this week, I assume. Let me see. 30. Yeah, by far. I don't know what's the next lowest. Broncos-Raiders is 41. Oh, Vikings-Bears, that's 39. So that's the second lowest. But lowest spread of the week, obviously neither, or total of the week. Neither team is particularly good offensively. The Browns' offense was okay last week, but they can't run the ball. And the Steelers' offense is not sensational, and they have a great defense. Browns' defense has been spotty at best. And the weather's supposed to be pretty bad here if you're not from Cleveland or the area. It was beautiful this morning, nice and warm, but the temperature is plummeting. And it's supposed to be very cold tomorrow. It'll probably be around freezing at game time. There could be some snow. If it's above freezing, it might be rain. There's wind. It's just it could be pretty ugly tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. But so that's part of the reason why the over-under is so low. But it's hard to have much faith in the Browns right now, the way they've been playing. Obviously, the defense completely cratered against a bad Saints team last week. Yes, Jameis threw for a lot of yards, but he's done that against the Ravens and the Saints, 2 of the worst pass defenses in the league. This Steelers team is a whole new animal. Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson always struggles against Pittsburgh, but I mean, the guy he's won 2 MVPs and was having his best year ever. And went into that Steeler game, and I was like, he's gonna take care of the Steelers. Nope, he didn't do anything. He didn't have much of a game. That's how good this defense is right now. That's how well they're playing right now. So I am leaning towards the Steelers. I expect them to win the game. Obviously, you never know. It was that easy to predict games. We'd win bets all the time, and we don't. I would lay the 3.5 with the Steelers. On the money line, they're minus 195. If you think it's going to be a field goal game, think it's going to be close. I don't. Although it could be, because it probably will be low scoring. So I could see potentially the Steelers, winning by only 3 points or less, and what could be, I guess, a sloppy, ugly game, 13-10 or something like that. But if I had to go with the spread, I'm certainly going with the Steelers. I just don't see a path to the Browns winning this game. You have to be at least somewhat balanced against the Steelers, and I'm hoping that Nick Chubb, maybe this is the day. A year later and change later, he plays against the Steelers for the first time since he blew out his knee against them. So maybe that there's some motivation there. I don't know, but in the end, Nick Chubb's not struggling to run the ball because of motivation. It's because, he's coming back from injury. Now, he was better last week. They didn't give him the ball a ton, but it was certainly his best performance. It seems like he's, gotten better now a couple games in a row. So maybe, but the Steelers are just so tough defensively that I just think I just don't see the Browns winning this game. Plus, we don't even know who's playing left tackle. Obviously, Dawand Jones is out for the year now. Jed Wills, not looking good. So it's Jermaine Iafetti. That's not promising, protecting the blind side. of Jameis Winston. Speaking of Dawand Jones, if you missed it, and based on the fact that it's got over 2 million views on Twitter, you probably didn't. On my other venue, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, yesterday, I was asked about Dawand Jones and his future with the Browns. And, what I said in this particular clip that got put out on Twitter was that you can't trust Dawand Jones to be your starter. You can't bank on him being your starter next year because he has dealt with a number of injuries. Some of them are probably weight related. He played poorly earlier this season. I can't say with 100% certainty that was weight related, but early in the season, he weighed about 415 pounds. He lost weight and he started playing better. So these things factor in. I don't talk about Dawand Jones' weight to make fun of him. I'm certainly in no position to make fun of somebody overweight. It's funny to me when I talk about Dawand Jones' weight, and I have people respond on Twitter saying, "Who are you to talk about his weight? You're fat." I'm aware I'm fat, everybody. I've said on the air many, many times that I have struggled with losing weight. It's not easy. I'm not making fun of Dawand Jones, and I'm aware of my size. I need to lose a lot more weight than him, and it's much harder for me because I'm older, and I got to lose more, frankly, because he's a foot taller. And his job is to be in shape. Mine isn't. But I'm not even being critical of that. I'm suspecting he has an addiction, which I know I do. And I know how hard it is to pull away from the noise. Somebody wrote me a nice email today talking about food noise when you're overweight and when you're obese. And if you're not fat, you're not going to get it. You're going to roll your eyes. Well, you have more willpower. And that's easy. That's fine. Whatever you want. But getting rid of that food noise is hard. And he's probably got it too, if I had to guess. Listen, I'm rooting for Dawand Jones. I think he's a very talented player. He's shown that in 2 years. When he's been healthy and when he's been at I'll say for him, a somewhat reasonable weight, he's played well. But I just don't see how you can go into next season assuming he's a short thing at left tackle. He's played 3 games there. He's missed multiple games last year and multiple games this year. And he's had 3-4 injuries at this point. I just don't see how he's a short thing. And that was my only point. If he can get the weight under control and stay healthy, not all his injuries are weight related, certainly, but it's a factor. If he can get that under control, then sure. I mean, I love the potential there. He could potentially be a steal of a draft pick, but I can't bank on that if I'm the Browns. Left tackle is too important a position to put all your hope in one guy that's dealing with a lot. And again, he's got a broken ankle. I don't mean to, be cold about somebody that's dealing with a serious injury. But when you're overweight and dealing with rehab of a leg injury, it makes it even harder not to gain weight. So I hope he does well. He responded to the video with my comment about, hey, looks like we both need to lose weight. I'm going to get there. And people took that as he was taking a shot at me. I don't know if he was or not. I don't really care. There's nothing that Dawand Jones or anybody else could say to me that I haven't said to myself about my weight. And if he was taking a shot, I really hold no ill will towards him whatsoever. I want him to be healthy, just like I want myself to be healthy. Obviously, it's more important to me that I'm healthy, but I also want Dawand Jones to be healthy. I'm sympathetic to everybody that's fat because I know what they're going through. And he's not, again, the guy's a massive human being. He's a foot taller than I am, so he doesn't need to lose as much weight. Like, he probably weighs about 40, 50 pounds more than I do. Maybe even not, maybe 30, 40 pounds. But so I need to lose way more because he doesn't need, I need to get down to a much lower weight than he does because he's a foot taller. There's just so light a weight he can get to. He could probably, especially as an offensive lineman at his age, even at 340, 350, could probably be fine. Whereas, that's where I'm at now, and I need to lose 100 pounds. And it's not easy. And it's not easy for him to lose whatever he needs to lose, whether it's 10, 20, 40. It's hard. So I wish him the best. And I don't even think he was taking a shot, and I don't care if he was. it's completely fine. So for those who said he put me in a body bag or whatever else, that's okay. That's okay. So there you go. All right. Thanks to Shane, Max, Alex, everybody. We had a lot of people involved in today's podcast. Tomorrow on Thursday, I will be on live following the conclusion of Browns Steelers. 11 something. I'll be on live. And then Friday this week, Dustin and I will we've been doing the live show 2 p.m. on Thursdays, but for this week and I think next week, we're going to do it on Friday instead. So join me and Dustin live Friday at 2 and live tomorrow after the game. Until then, I'll talk to you next time. Where else? Right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by BetRivers. See you, everybody.